Hi everybody, I'm Donna Salazar. Welcome to Tuesday Tutorials. This week I'm going to be showing some of my product from Want2Scrap. I have 8x10 cardboard that has that front side removed. 4 pieces come in a pack. And I like using these for layouts because it's super thick, obviously because it's cardboard. And when you're doing a mixed media layout and you're going to be piling a bunch of stuff on, you need to have something thick like that to be able to manage all of the mediums that you're going to be adding. I also have these 8x10 stencils. A lot of them match my smaller stencils. There's the houndstooth. This also comes in, it's about a 4x6. It's a little bit smaller than 4x6 size. I have my alphas. These also come in the smaller size. My hearts, also smaller. And my arrows, these also come in a smaller size, but I have the small arrows and the large arrows in the 8x10. And then my bricks. And these are in the small and the large as well. And this is what the stencils look like. I know these look like they're milky, but it's actually just a thin plastic coat that you can take off. But I like to leave it on because it makes it easier to clean sometimes. If I make it really, really messy, then I just pull the top layer off and then I'm done. So I'm going to be making this layout background and I will show you step by step in the video how I did all of those layers. These hearts are actually from a previous show and I will put the link down in the information down below. So you can click on that link to see how I made these little hearts. And then these photo mats, that's from the Basil Tuesday tutorials that I did. This is their tarnished tissue and I showed how to do that as well. So let's go ahead and we'll get started. So I ran the cardboard through my grand caliper first to flatten it out, and I'm using the back of the cardboard because the mediums I'm going to be putting on need to be on a smooth surface. I'm starting with some gelatos from Faber Castell and I'm using a few different colors. Now I'm using an art sponge and just kind of spreading it around inside of the heart stencil. And I'm going to use some of my Smooch Spritz, and this is in River Mossy, and then I blended it over. And the wetness in the spritz helps to blend the gelatos. Then I cleaned off my stencil because I don't want it to be too messed up. And now I'm using flexible modeling paste from Liquitex. And I'm using my small arrows on the 8x10. Now, when you're using the modeling paste or any kind of texture paste, you really want to make sure you clean your stencils well. I used a heat gun to dry and set that modeling paste. And now I'm using the white gelato with an ink blender because I want this to be just kind of faded in the background because I'm talking about how my son and his wife were 2, and then they are 3 now, and so they're a family. So that's why I'm adding 1, 2, 3 all over. Now I'm going to use some white acrylic paint, and I'm just going to run that over very loosely through the alpha part of the alpha stencil. And a lot of this stuff, because you're building in layers, you really don't see all of it, but that's okay. That's what's really cool about the mixed media kind of layers. And now I'm drawing those letters. And when you are using acrylic paint with a heat gun, sometimes if it's super thick, you can get it to kind of bubble up. And now I'm using my Artist PITT pens from Faber Castell as well. And I'm going around the outline of the numbers because I want them to show up a little bit more. Now I'm using the rest of that white acrylic paint and I'm going around the edges. I want it to be thick in some areas and light in other areas because when you use the heat gun on the paint, it makes it bubble up. So I want to have a lot of that texture. And you can see it bubbling here. You can see how it bubbles up and it gives you really cool texture in this is just regular acrylic paint. So I went all the way around and made sure that it was completely dry. Now I'm going back over those numbers again because some of the numbers got covered, but I'm using a different color pen and I'm offsetting it slightly so it'll show up a little bit better. And I'm using my Distress It All here, and I rock the paper back and forth. I bounce it up and down, and I go forward and backwards to get a really, really distressed edge. And you always want to make sure that you flip your Distress It All over and check to see if it's full and empty out the trap at the back. I'm using a lot of water with my Smooch Spritz because there's so much mica and pigment that it really does need to have water with it so that it will blend and it will do the drippy stuff that I want it to do. And I'm just using a heat gun to dry it, and so it'll kind of lock those drips in place. Now I'm using my Honey Mixed Media Inks over the top part of the arrows and some of the other bumpy parts in the paint. And I'm going to use some clear embossing powder from Clearsnap. Just kind of shaking it all over the layout, and I'm going to heat set it and it'll turn clear. And I really wish it would go this fast in real life, but it doesn't. It takes a while, which is nice to have the fast forward function so you can see it happen very quickly. But it really brings out a lot of the texture when you add embossing to your backgrounds. Now I'm going to do the title, and I'm using the white label paper from the Mixed Media Stacks #2. It's a super, super thick paper, and it's got a really nice adhesion to it. And so I'm doing the title, and it says 2 became 3, and now they're a family. And I'm using my Mixed Media Inks chalks because I want it to dry quickly. Family is spelt out in the chipboard letters, so I didn't need to do that in the stamps. Then I just inked the edges with the Mixed Media Inks in Honey. And I'm adding them to the layout, trying to figure out how I want to put it. And then I'm just removing the back and adhering it down. And here's some close-ups of the layout. And there are close-up photos on the blog as well. Thank you so much for joining me. I hope you enjoyed the show. If you would like to be entered into the prize this week, which is 2 of my 8x10 stencils from Want2Scrap, then you can go to my blog here and use Rafflecopter to enter the drawing, and there's multiple ways for you to get more than one entry into the drawing. And if you can't wait that long and you want to get these stencils right away, you can go to the Want2Scrap site here, and I'm sure that they would appreciate you supporting them since they supported us for this show. Thanks so much for joining me, and I'll see you guys next week. Bye! Close-ups of the layout are on my blog. Thank you, Want2Scrap, for being our sponsor this week. To enter in the drawing for the prizes, go to the blog. Thanks for joining me. That's the show for this week. Ding. Say hi, baby. Hi. Okay, can I film now? Please? Who's that? Hi, Daddy. Who's that? Hi, Mommy. Forgetting what I was going to say. Okay. I'm filming. This isn't working.
Wear them proudly? No. Yeah, kind of.
It's hard to do backwards. Okay.
But look this way. Hello, cuteness.
Don't look at me. I have to film here.
Oh, there you are.
Okay, don't too many ums. I always smile right before I start. And so I smiled, and then he thought it was hilarious. I'm going to hurt you. I'm going to sock you in the throat.
I'm filming.
Yeah, that's exactly how I sound.
And we're gonna make things with glitter.
Do over again. Shh. Too many ands. Why am I always doing that?
I'm Donna Salazar.
It's gonna sound like one of those things where you did the slow motion where you slow it way down. That was silly. Just silly.